Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by today. Yes, I'm in a different location, bringing you a different kind of video today. Today's video is all about makeup mistakes for mature women and how we can fix them. Are you making any of these mistakes? Keep watching and find out. So we are going to be working on this makeup look today from start to finish and talking about mistakes and how we can correct those as we age to have our makeup, our skin look its very best. And today's video is sponsored by City Beauty. I have been using some City Beauty products for a while now, and I've become a big fan of what I've been using, and I'm going to be sharing those with you today. City Beauty is having a 30% off site-wide sale September 2nd through 6th. If you use my code when you shop, you can get 30% off anything on their website over the Labor Day weekend. So to see what I've picked from City Beauty and to see how I created this look, keep watching. So you can't have great looking makeup without great looking skin. And at our age, it is time for some grown-up skincare. This next little portion of the video is sponsored by City Beauty. So thanks to City Beauty for sponsoring today. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite products from City Beauty and how I use them in my skincare routine. The City Lips Lid Lifting Treatment reduces the look of droopy, sagging eyelids, nourishes and hydrates to smooth the look of wrinkles, instantly softens the appearance of lines and creases, and helps firm and tighten the look of loose and folded skin. The Uplift Firming Serum targets sagging skin for a taut, lifted look. It reduces the appearance of wrinkles for a smooth finish, rejuvenates skin for a younger look in just 30 minutes, and deeply hydrates for a visible plumping effect. The Multi-Action Sculpting Cream reduces the look of saggy, thin skin, helps skin look noticeably more elastic, supports the look of springy, supple skin, and minimizes the look of fine lines and wrinkles. The Invisicrepe Body Balm reduces the look of wrinkled, crepey skin on the body, lifts the look of sagging skin, supports the appearance of skin firmness and elasticity, and locks in moisture for long-lasting hydration. And you can tell by looking at this jar that I have been using the heck out of this stuff. I love it. The City Lips Night Oil provides deep hydration overnight, promotes soft, supple feeling lips, and reduces the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles on the lips. I use this every night since I've bought it, and it has made a tremendous difference in the feel and appearance of my lips. So now that your skin is prepped, moisturized, uplifted, hydrated, and all that good stuff, it's time to prime. This is an important step not to skip, because if you're like me, you probably have some large pores, maybe the fine lines and wrinkles, and getting a good pore filling primer will help fill in those pores and those small wrinkles to help your makeup glide on and look even better. So don't forget this step. And my favorite primer for pore filling is the POREfessional by Benefit. I've been using this for years, and what I like to do is go ahead and put my primer on and let that sit and get nice and embedded into my skin before I put my makeup on. So I will put this on, dry my hair, and then come back for the rest of my makeup. One of the biggest mistakes that I see mature women making with their makeup is not using the right kind of makeup. And by that, I mean the kind of coverage. If you see a makeup that says full coverage, long wear, long lasting, then 9 times out of 10, that is going to be a very matte finish made for someone with oily skin or someone who's younger and has that perfect skin underneath, because the matte foundations are going to show every imperfection and amplify them, even if you have a good primer on underneath. So for mature skin, you want to look for either a serum foundation, and my favorite one, this is drugstore brand. It's my most often used, and this bottle is about halfway gone, but it's the L'Oreal True Match Nude Serum Foundation. It is a hyaluronic tinted serum with 1% hyaluronic acid, and I'm wearing it in the shade 3 to 4 light medium. So this is what I've been wearing lately. Another one that is great, that is a drugstore brand that I have used extensively. This is a little bit more full coverage. It is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless foundation. It comes in this little compact, and you can see it's got like skincare swirled in with the foundation. This is thicker. You can see how much I've used, but this is definitely going to give you more coverage if you have age spots like me that you want to cover, or redness or anything else that's hard to cover. This is a great one, and it gives a nice luminous finish. Another one that's really good that I've used in the past, don't have any of it right now, is the IT Cosmetics CC cream. As far as coverage, it's probably somewhere in between these two. It's not quite as full coverage as this one, but it's definitely more coverage than the serum foundation. And that one provides a great finish, plus it has all kinds of good stuff in it for your skin. I know there are others, but those are my top picks for my skin at this stage of the game. And that means it evens out my skin. It doesn't settle into my pores and fine lines or emphasize them, and it gives a luminosity to my skin. So today I'm going to be using the L'Oreal, so let me get that on and I'll show you how I do it. I always use a damp beauty blender to apply my foundation. I wet it and then I squeeze it out really good until it's just damp. And then with this foundation, it is rather thin. I squeeze some out on the back of my hand, and then I'm gonna just kind of spread it around with this and get it nice and into the sponge, and then take it onto my face. So here we go. You don't want to just apply the makeup directly to the sponge because it'll just soak it up. You also don't want to use a dry sponge for that same reason. I take it all the way over my eyelids and everything just to help provide a base for my upcoming eyeshadow. And as you see, now I have my whole face covered. I could have gone in with another layer, but I don't like to layer up too much if I can get by with not doing that. So it has evened out my skin tone. It gives me a nice glow, but now it hasn't totally hidden, you know, my sunspots, my age spots, things like that. So I will go in with some of my concealer and hit some of those to just give those a little bit more coverage, which brings up my next topic. The next mistake that I see mature women making a lot with their makeup is using concealer that is too light. I know we're trying to hide those dark circles, and you would think that you need to go lighter to hide the dark circles, but that's really counterintuitive, because what you end up with is kind of a reverse raccoon effect. So here's one of my concealers. This is one of my old favorites from Lancome. I love this. It's a great concealer, but this is more of a wintertime shade for me. This is very light, and you'll see if I use it now what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and try this one. Well, it doesn't look horrible on camera. In person, it's a little bit whiter than this, but you see how much lighter it is here and here. And then if you go in with powder on top of that, it's really going to come off with a lighter appearance. And the lighter color under your eyes is gonna be like arrows pointing to those fine lines and wrinkles and everything that you're trying to avoid bringing attention to. So what you want to do is get a concealer that is closer in color to your foundation. And you want to be careful with the formula of your concealer as well. You don't want matte, long wearing. I know Tarte Shape Tape is super popular and it provides great coverage, but it is not our friend. Let me tell you, it is very matte. It amplifies all the crepiness, all the fine lines. That is not a good one for those of us who are a little more mature. One I've been using lately that I really like is by Physicians Formula, and it's the Butter Glow concealer. And this one is in a shade closer to my my foundation, and this gives a luminous finish as well. It's not quite as dry as this Lancome is. So let me put that on and show you the difference. So here is with the Physicians Formula concealer. As you can see, this is not quite as heavy coverage as the Lancome, but that's okay. It provides a more natural look, and I don't have that white cast that you get over here. This one is just more natural looking. It has covered over the dark circles, but it isn't giving me that white ring around my eye look, which is much more preferred. So let me fix this eye and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've tried to even up my eyes and I blended in those dots that you saw. I added some concealer to these little discolorations I had and blended that out. So now everything is looking nice and evened out and ready for the next step. And the best tip really I can give you as far as concealer goes, in addition to using the right shade, is use as little as you can get away with. Don't go heavy-handed with the concealer, especially in this under eye area, because it's going to collect, no matter how good it is, it's going to collect in these little lines and creases. So use the least amount that you can get away with, and then blend, 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 and blend some more. Now you may be one of the lucky people who doesn't have to set your makeup with powder, and if you are, congratulations, but I still have to set mine with powder a little bit. My bronzer and my blush and everything else goes on evenly, but again, with powder you want to follow the same rule as with the concealer. Use the least amount necessary because you don't want that cakey, dry look on your skin. Now, I have tried a lot of powders in a lot of different price ranges, but the powder that I've been using the most the past couple of years is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Pressed Powder, and I use this in the color Soft Honey in the summertime. And as you can see, I have used it a lot. And with this, I just go in with powder brush. I dab it on there, tap it off, and then I go into my T-zone. I do powder my lids, upper and lower. That's gonna help your eyeshadow stick and the oils from your eyelids not come through and mess up your eyeshadow that we'll get to in a moment. But this powder is just really nice. It has a nice luminous finish, so it doesn't look dry or cakey. I still use a light hand with it, but I do a little bit more, you know, in my T-zone, but I make sure I hit my cheeks and everything so that my blush and bronzer is going to glide on smoothly. The next mistake that I see mature women make a lot when doing their makeup is skipping the brows. Either skipping the brows or going to the other extreme and overdoing the brows, painting on a really heavy, obviously fake brow. And that looks just as bad or worse than no brows at all. But you want to have nice face framing brows. They are so important to the overall look of your face. And I know this is going to differ depending on what your situation is. I'm very blessed that I have thick, bushy eyebrows. I have them waxed and shaped up. I haven't in a while. But I have a lot of brows and I get them tinted. That way I don't have to do anything to them. I don't have to fill them in. I don't have to draw anything. They're done. I just brush them and I don't have to worry about it. But it's been a while since I had my brows tinted, so you kind of see some gaps or what look to be gaps in my eyebrows, but really that's just where my eyebrows are either very blonde or gray or white or whatever, and you're not seeing them. When they're tinted, they all just blend in, but right now it looks like I've got some empty spots, so I'm going to fill those in just a little bit. But you want to make sure that you fill them in, but they're not overdone, and don't use too dark of a brow pencil and don't go too heavy-handed. A brow pencil that I like to use when I use one is this one. It's cheap, it's by Wet n Wild, and it has this kind of a tip on it, so it's already got kind of like brush stroke shaped. It's got a brush stroke shaped point on it, so it makes it real easy to get in there and get your brush stroke looking brows. So I just barely filled mine in a little bit where needed. So be sure you're not skipping your brows or you're not overdoing your brows. Find find that happy medium to frame your face and not look too exaggerated and just give a nice framing effect to your eyes and to your entire face. It really makes a big difference. The next mistake that a lot of people our age tend to make is the wrong placement of blush and bronzer. Of course, when we were growing up, we were taught to, suck in and do the stripes down here and then do some blush here on the apples of our cheeks. But as we age, if we use that same strategy, it's really going to drag down our face. What we want to do is lift it up. So don't come down low on your cheek with the blush, or it's going to, when you're not smiling, it's just going to kind of sink in your face and pull you down. So I always add bronzer to help blend in with my neck and chest because it's always darker than my face. And I like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And I always start up here. I add a little color along my hairline. And then I come down. And that's about it right there, as far as onto my cheeks. Let me get a little bit more. Come down this side. There. You want to keep this lifted appearance right here by your eyes and your cheekbones. Now I will take this, I add some to my nose, I add some to my chin, and then sometimes when there's like practically none left on my brush, I just swirl the whole thing around to give my whole face a little bit more glow. But you just don't want to pull it down too far here on your cheeks. Same thing with your blush. We were told to smile and put it on the apples of our cheeks, but look what happens to the apple of my cheek when I'm not smiling. It goes down here. So if I've got a big dollop of blush right there, when I'm not smiling, it's gonna be dragging down. So you don't want to put it right there. I'm using my Millani blush, my favorite color, which is Dolce Pink. And again, you want to go on top of the cheekbone and up to give a lifted appearance and not dragging you down. And the thing I love about this Millani blush is it's got such a nice luminous finish to it that I don't use a highlighter. I keep my makeup pretty simple. I don't add a lot of extra steps or products. And this kind of has the effect of a highlighter combined in with the blush. So it gives you this nice glow that a lot of people ask me about in my videos. They mention my skin glowing. This is the secret to my glow. So now you know. Next, we're going to talk about eyes. And let me say, I should have said this at the beginning. I'm not a makeup artist by any stretch of the imagination. I know what works for me through lots of trial and error and through, lots of years of practice. I've made a lot of makeup mistakes. And the one good thing about being on YouTube the past 2.5 years is I can go back and look at myself with various different makeup looks and hair looks, and I can see what works on me and what doesn't. So I have an advantage that way because I have a lot of documentation I can look back on. But this is a pretty universally known fact when it comes to eye makeup, especially for those of us with more mature eyes or hooded eyes. I have had hooded eyes my whole life. Some people don't get them until they're older. I've always had them. And that means your eyelid just disappears when your eyes are open. You can't see any eyeshadow, it just rolls back in there and all you're left seeing is the upper eyelid. So a big mistake I see a lot of women make, and this probably goes back to the way you were taught when you were younger, is to highlight under the brow bone. How many times have you heard that? So you take a lighter color of eyeshadow and you put it up here under the brow bone. Now, compared to this eye, what does this do? It makes my upper eyelid look heavy and droopy. because as you know, anything that's a lighter in color is going to appear larger. Dark colors recede and look smaller, light colors project and look bigger. So by putting the light color all over this lid, it's made it look bigger and heavier. So what you want to do, and which is what I did on this eye, is cover your entire lid with more of a light medium toned eyeshadow color. Just cover your whole lid with that all the way up to your brow. This is a nice neutral shade to start with, just to cover everything. And then you want to take your contour shade. For me, I chose this one, which is right under the one that I used for all over. And I have this little slanted brush. This is from Real Techniques. I love their brushes. They're very affordable and I find that they work great for my purposes. This one is an angled brush and it's very precision. So what I like to do is I like to start up here, kind of in a corner, out from the corner of my eyelashes, and bring this down. And then I'm going to bring it over. Of course, I'm going to add more, but eventually it's going to look something like this. And I'm going to take another fluffy brush and blend it all out. So here is a fluffy blending brush, and I'm just taking this and, you know, I'm doing like a windshield wiper. I'm swiping back and forth and bringing it up here a little bit onto that hood part. And you see that darker color helps that hood kind of recede instead of coming forward. And so I'm just going to blend on both sides until this is nice and blended out with no harsh lines or minimal harsh lines. Harsh lines. So now my eyes look more open, they look lifted, and that hood doesn't look so heavy and it isn't coming forward. And this brings me to the next mistake that I see women our age making, and that is thick, heavy black eyeliner. I rarely wear any eyeliner. I know I may be in the minority, but I have seen plenty of pictures of myself where I do have eyeliner on, like here, and I just feel like eyeliner really closes off my eyes, and I want my eyes to appear more open. Sometimes what I will do, I will take a small angled flat brush like this and dab it into one of the darker colors on my eyeshadow, like one of these down here, and I will go in and wiggle that along my lash line just to thicken up the appearance of my lash line. And that is just a lot softer and works better for me. I never put a liner along my bottom lashes. I feel like that just drags me down, closes off my eyes, and at our age it can just really look harsh, especially if you go with a black eyeliner. Now, if you feel like eyeliner is a must for your eyes, I would encourage you to use a brown or maybe another shade of eyeliner that kind of coordinates with your eyeshadow. My favorite for when I do use eyeliner is by Urban Decay. It's the 24/7 Glide On liner. These are just the best because they do glide on, they're not dry, and they do stay on. They stay put. And this brown color is really nice. It's nice and soft, and it is in the color Hustle. So I'll be sure to link all the products I'm using in today's video down in the description. But here is my chosen eyeliner if I do use one. But like I said, I usually will just do some eyeshadow along my upper lashes and call it good. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I've done this eye with the eyeshadow smudged along the top lash line here and not here. So you can see the difference that it makes. It's very subtle, but it just adds a little more definition to the lash line. So there it is with both eyes. That is my finished eyeshadow eyeliner look. And again, I haven't put anything on my lower lash line. I just don't like to do that. I feel like it drags me down and closes my eyes off. And that moves us into the next mistake, which is not treating your lashes. By the time you get to be our age, you know, our lashes are more sparse than they used to be, and or they're not as long as they used to be. So you're gonna need a little help if if you want some nice, thick, lush, long looking eyelashes. And I have been using this. I swear by this. I've been using it for, I don't know, 4 years now, and it is the Revitalash Cosmetics Advanced Lash Serum. It's just this tiny little brush, and I do one swipe on my top lash line every night before bed when I'm doing my nighttime skin routine, and that has made a tremendous difference in my lashes. So you do have to keep up with it. It takes about 3 months for you to see the effects, but I promise, stick with it and you'll see results. But if you ever quit using this, after a while, you'll see your lashes go back to the way they were. So it's one of those things that once you start it, you will have to keep up with it if you want to keep those long, thick lashes. Another thing that people do tend to skip a lot that I think is a mistake when it comes to their lashes is a lash primer. Now there's all kinds of lash primers on the market at all different price points. Most of the ones you see are like this one. This one's by Dior. They're white, so you put it on and your lashes look kind of white, and then you put the mascara over it. But I found this one from Maybelline at Walmart, and this is the Sky High primer. And the great thing about this lash primer, it's tinted, so you don't have these globs of white primer that you have to make sure you're covering with your mascara. You have the tinted primer, and I just put this on the tips of my lashes. I try not to, you know, gob on too much because I use a really good mascara, but this is just an added little boost for some length. And you can already tell a difference just with the primer on. But that was just a little bit of primer. And my current favorite mascara that I just discovered this year is the Bobbi Brown Smoky Eye Mascara. This mascara is so good at separating your lashes, thickening them, making them look long, but not clumpy. This is like the most unclumpy mascara I have ever used, and it is my new favorite. And you want to make sure when you're putting your mascara on that you start way down at the base of your lashes and you wiggle down there to get the mascara down at the bottom, so you're thickening them all the way up, because nothing looks worse than when you see somebody with mascara and they've only done the tips of their lashes. It just looks weird. So be sure you're starting down at your lash line and bringing the brush all the way through. And there are my lashes with mascara. Another weird thing I don't do, I don't put mascara on my bottom lashes for a couple of reasons. For one, it can smudge, you know, underneath your eye with your concealer and everything. Even though you've powdered, you can get smudges down there. But also on me, I just feel like it kind of closes off my eyes and drags them down. And I also get a little bit on my bottom lashes anyway, just from blinking from my top lashes. A little bit will get on my bottom lashes, and that's enough for me. So I just call it good with that. And like I said, that's the way I do it. Doesn't mean it's right for everybody, but that is the way I do my mascara. The next mistake I'm going to talk about when it comes to mature makeup is lip color. And the biggest mistake that you can make when it comes to your lipstick or lip gloss or whatever is going with a matte finish. Even if you choose a light color like I've done here, when you get a matte finish on mature lips, it just emphasizes every line, any dryness that you may have. It just puts it under a microscope and brings it front and center. And that is just not a good look. Now, sometimes what I will do, because matte lipsticks are nice and long wearing, I will use a matte lipstick and then add a layer of lip gloss on top. That can work. So I do that a lot of the time, but to just wear a matte lipstick alone is not going to be pretty on more mature lips. And especially if you're wearing a very dark color matte lipstick, that is going to make your lips look smaller. It's going to make you look more harsh, and it's just not going to be a flattering look. So what you want to do is you want to look for a lipstick that is either a cream or satin satin finish. That is gonna go on a lot more smoothly and be a lot more forgiving to more mature lips. So you can see how much nicer this lipstick looks than the last one did. And this is just a drugstore lipstick. It's Maybelline. It's a cream formula and it's in the color 235. It's called Warm Me Up. It just has a nice sheen to it, not too shiny, but it just gives the look of moisture and a nice luminous glow to your lips. Remember to visit my link down below to City Beauty and use my code for 30% off site-wide September 2nd through 6th. So that's a great opportunity to try some of my favorites from City Beauty. Everything I've used in today's video will be linked down in the description box below. Thanks for joining me, and until I see you next time, have a stylish day. Bye.